State of the Palbox, the 10th of March 2025. So people have been asking what my Palbox is like, and really to show that I'm gonna have to show the pals in my bases as well, because I do have 50 base pals and 10 bases just to fit all my pals, and then one pal or the one base dedicated just to viewing cages for my pals. So this is the messy ranch base, which I basically just made because since I was mass catching so many chickadees and stuff for these demon god and everything like that, I just took the time to make a couple of ranch pals, then I tried to add a couple of musarinas to kind of match the production, and then a couple of other random ranch pals on that. I took some of my transport mimogs that I was making just for fun. Some of them are 0 star, most are 4 star I think. Then we have these ranch pals. So a couple of ranch pals, a bunch of chickadees, a few musarinas, and some of my older van worms from back in the day. So that's the 50 ranch pals over here. Then we're gonna move on to, let's take the one furthest away. It's a bit of a mix between ranch and skill fruit trees in this space. So just some random stuff spread around. Got some Runelia, just because I don't have anything anywhere else to put them right now. Then some random pals. I got my full work speed Dumuds as well. Got some full work speed Kelpsies. And then it's mostly just pals, so it's not totally full. It's just pals to maintain all my skill fruit trees. I try to have around 2 skill fruit trees for each good fruit. So if you've seen the skill fruit tree video, I try to keep like the at least B and above 2 fruits of each, or 2 trees of each, and that adds up after some time. Let's see what it's like right now. Quite a lot of skill fruits growing, slowly but surely. They're adding up. 800 holy bursts should be fine for a while, and then just a whole bunch of Dumuds and Kelpsy, like high quality pal oil and stuff for polymers. Let's go to the breeding bases. So this is a bit of a temporary breeding base. Just set it up really quickly because I wanted to mass breed a couple of pals for the armies. So it's not that many breeding farms. It's not as full as it could be, not utilizing all 50 base slots here. Just breeding Mimog army, Bastigor, Astegon army, Frostallion army and stuff like that. So that's the smaller one. This is the old main breeding base, where I could also fit a couple of more breeding farms, but haven't really cared about building it up that much. A couple of random breeding pals here. Orcirks to power it. I got my Dr. Bronze in here as well. Let's see. I'm not gonna do that now. Let's not get distracted. Then we have the main base. So this one should be... We're at 49 right now, it looks like. Probably took something out here. Got my applied workbook. Right, so I'm gonna put one more Helsifer when I get the alpha. Got the applied workbooks for it ready to go. It's my first applied workbook pal. We got the Splatterina, some transport pals, work speed Rios, and then I think last time I checked, okay, these two need to be condensed. I have 27 Knocklems. Most of them should be maxed. Had to take a little bit of break from maxing them out because my breeding farms are full. So I still need to max out my Mimogs and my Knocklems. But not a whole lot of working pals, just one each of these. Got some Shroomers, got my full speed Depresso. A little bit of a mix of pals here as well. I'm not totally worried about like maintaining maximum production here anymore, because I have like millions of everything. So they're really just there to... I could have removed them all if we had more base loss. They're basically just filling it out here. And when I do need to craft ammo or something small like that, they're mostly just leveling. Like when I'm leveling pals now, I remove the 27 Knocklems, put my army in here, queue all the machines up, and they get XP from that. That was all in this area. Then I have... Let's go down to the old oil base. So this is another one that I'm gonna move. I really want to go back to just having 4 bases and then having the other 6 for like random stuff. So this is the old oil base, got the oil stuff. I've done a lot of testing in this base as well, because sometimes I don't want to do all the tests in the raid base. I did the gold conveyor tests in here. That's not so relevant right now. Let's check out the pals. Not a whole lot, just the ore circs to power it. Got my old ore circs, there wasn't really any need to max them out. Some Astegons, just because I couldn't fit them in the box. And then some Noclums. So this base kinda doesn't do anything anymore. I don't need the ore that I was making, and I am overproducing way more oil than I need. I could use this, like I could probably empty some pals out from the Palbox here as well, but I do want to move this base. Then nothing super exciting in the triple Hexlite base. Just a couple of mining pals and electricity pal for the oil. We just have a couple of max Noclums. Maybe I could just move these to my main base instead, if I want more transporting there. Some Astegons to mine, and then one lonely little ore circ to power it. So slowly but surely adding up some Hexalite here, and a little bit of oil. Then we got the legendary sphere factory. So this is where I probably want to have my main base, somewhere around here. I haven't really decided yet where I'm going to move to. But this is using 15 base pals. It was from the legendary sphere base video, and then I haven't really used it much since then. They're all kind of sick and impressed, but what I usually do is you do the oil rig, then when you fast travel away from the oil rig I end up here. Then sometimes I just queue up the machines, but at the same time I got way more gold than I will ever need, I think, so I don't really do that anymore anyway. But they're all the maxed pals, except for the Noclums. The others should be maxed. I think I replaced a couple of the old Astegons as well. So I could condense over some of these older Astegons. They don't really have a use here anymore. Was that all of them? I think that's all of them. Then we have the raid base, no pals in there for now. Then we're gonna visit the viewing cage base, but first I'm gonna show the actual Palbox. This is the part people were most interested in, I think. Let's show the actual Palbox. I'm gonna show it in the condensers. You can see the ones that are grayed out are the ones that are maxed 4-star pals. So we got a couple of random Lamballs. Not super interesting. We got the Chickpeas from the Chickpea video. Then a couple of the booster pals. They didn't change in Feybreak, luckily. Or Sakura Dream, actually. These are all from the base patch, like pre-Libro era. Same here, just some older pals. Gliders from the glider test. Grass boosters. There should be one more Bristol, I probably just forgot to favorite it. Bunch of Gobfins. And some Musandas. I was breeding a weaponized pal party before Feybreak or something. Still haven't finished it. Booster pal, booster pals, Cognito. So a lot of these pals are from Sakurajima. I haven't updated them for Feybreak. They're just placeholders here until I actually get around to updating them. Booster pals, Chillets from the Chillet army, Kitsun. Like a lot of these I spent so much time breeding for Holy Burst. Now we have a Holy Burst skill fruit. Should have known that was coming. Just vampiric placeholder, I think. Some Bushies. Pretty nice. Bushi knocked. Failed project. I prepped this beacon because I thought we were going to get a water raid boss, but instead we got Xenolord. So, but he's still around. We got my old Ragnarhawk. This one is an old classic. Been using it since pre-Libro release as well. The Vixen from the Bjorn videos. My old oil rig pal, just to make me run faster before I really started using the grappled Gale Claw method instead. A Feybreak Wyvern. I don't think I've made the video for this one yet. Spoilers here. Old Asherobe from pre-Sakurajima, so base patch Work Speed Blaze House. They were also just placeholders for breeding, to breed these passives to stuff. Mimog Hunting Pal. And then a bunch of old Sakurajima maxed pals for fun. The old Dungeon Fenglopes for running Bellanor Libro slabs in the Astral Dungeon. A couple of different variants of Felbat before I decided to go with Feybat 2.0. With the Vanguard, I think I had one without Vanguard. Vanguard seemed better. Also added Meteor Rain. This one didn't have it. A couple of old Rios. Still trying to breed for Demon God. I'll show the Palpedia in this video as well. Still no Demon God. I think I'm on 3000 hatches and a couple of hundred Dr. Bronze, still no Demon God, so we'll get there. Some max work speed Astegons. I'm going to replace all my old lucky Astegons eventually. Once I do finish up the breeding projects, I have a ton of different Anubis back from when I was testing like Earth Emperor, Impatient, Ferocious. It's also my Noble and Fine Furs cell team, so 5 of these are just Noble Fine Furs. Couple of old workers, just easy pals to send out when you want something built quickly in like the raid base. Old German Tides, a mix of old and new German Tides. Some Flame Emperor. This one is probably one of my oldest maxed pals. Maybe it was the first one I maxed. That's still there. Then we got the Demon God ones coming up. So one of them saved there. Old Work Speed Lylene, not super interesting. Maxed Phalaris of different variations for breeding. Nice pal. Terrible versus Buren though. Wall Splash one-shots it, not great. Phalaris Aqua, almost ready. Just need to condense it up and then I can test it out. Haven't gotten around to that yet. Some old Orsurks from fighting Rio Phase 2, back when you actually needed to change pals during Sakuradima. And then a ton of different Shadow Beaks to test out Siren and Invader and how that stacked out. You might have seen the video where I make my claim on the best one. I think it was this one I decided was the best one. I mean, ironically, it's probably the build I'm using on every single pal nowadays, I feel, for tower fighting, and then just replace Vampiric with Musclehead. We got Palladius, Celestial Emperor, not great. I'm currently rebreeding a Palladius army without it, using Musclehead again. Pretty much the same build on every single pal in the game, except for like Libro, I think. Doing some Frostallion breeding, gonna try that out as well. A ton of different Frost Nocts with Siren and Invader and everything. Just haven't gotten around to test them either. Some old oil rig, or not old, but I decided not to go with Jetrogan. My current setup is to just use Gale Claw and Fellbat with 3 Gobfins. But this is also decent for getting to and fro the oil rig with Eternal Engine and Vanguard to speed up the chopper fight. So a couple of different Libros to test. Right, this one is male, that's why I'm keeping it. Male with 100 IVs, always good to keep. We got a Selene. There should be more. Oh, it's in the breeding farm. My main Selene is currently in the breeding farm. Old oil rig pal. And then probably the strongest pal. Wait, where is Naya 4.0? There we go. The strongest Noclum. Probably the strongest pal in the game. You all know Noclum. It's great. Then a couple of transport Noclums for quick transporting. Different variations of Yakumo. Probably just used them a couple of times to get Palladius and Frostallion with passives. But they're good for that. Good to keep around. Never know when they add something new that needs Yakumo. Some Dasimu, where I tested Nimble versus Infinite Stamina, but then we got Eternal Engine. Not super interesting. Mimog for the Diamond Body test. Then a ton of different Xenolords. I think I went for 7 different builds to try out before deciding which one I was going to use. And I still honestly don't really know. Like, it depends. That's the answer. On what you're fighting and what skills you're using. I think this is probably a pretty safe build. Right? I'm not going to go too deep into that. Nightmare for farming souls. Tons and tons of different pals. Celestier, disappointing. Smoky for farming. Tyrantris running around. Couple of different mounts. I recommend this build over this build. The movement speed stuff didn't really matter a whole lot. But still, fun pal. Some different Bastigors with Siren and non-Siren. Depends if you're going pure ice or not, I guess. Neafia, not super interesting. Gildane, I still haven't tried it. It's months, probably 2 months since I made this pal, and I still haven't done the comparison to Anubis. Now we're getting to more of these random pals. Got some friendly pal tamer, not sure why I have that. Just some random captures. A lucky vampiric sheep, gotta keep that. Blank chickpea, good. Mastery fasting, just some different chickpeas for breeding purposes. Blank pals, always good to keep around.
I think I just caught these yesterday to get the materials to craft the hat. Not super interesting. Random blank pals, work speed depresso. Started this project before I realized how difficult it is to actually get the applied work speed books. So I'm putting it on the shelf until we get those. Some daydream builds that I was working on. They're also on the shelf. Blank pals, you know, good to have. Old flopies, good to have. Template breeding pals. Not much super interesting here right now. Got a work speed doomed. Maxed also. I should put that in the ranch base. Probably just forgot. And then one unmaxed. Couple of loot Moncris, just saving the alphas. You gotta save the alphas, right? A bunch of bees, but they're retired. I have more honey than I could ever use. They're retired, and now I'm breeding a bee army. I got the Alyssa bee, started breeding the buff bee guards. Same thing here. I got all these Swees, and I have one maxed Sweepa somewhere in the locked part. Some alpha chillets, can do it with removing these. Some maxed dassies for that test. Don't think I made that video either. Couple of different lavenders, can probably delete these. Lucky, I can delete that as well. Vanworms, I'm trying to get one that's alpha before I give it the books. I do have some books to give it, so that should be fine. This is for breeding Helsifer looks, so I could probably delete these now. Then some placeholder pals, can remove those. Or condense over them. Like the plan for a lot of these is just to condense over them once I do get around to breeding better versions. Old logging Woompos. I can condense over. I'm considering breeding some Woompos to test out that snowball attack. It looks pretty fun. And then some old placeholder Fellbats as well. Got some old Blasamoots. Some budget rescue pals that I was working on to try out. I haven't done that test either. And then a ton of just miserable. I should give you souls and put you in the base. This one is also ready. This one as well. Just a ton of different Rios from my attempts at getting Demon God right now. So I will probably have a lot of Rios by the time I have that Demon God ready. Some of them are rescue pals. Some placeholder here. Now we're getting to the interesting part. Got a ton of Astegons. Just a whole lot of them. That's why I'm breeding an Astegon army now, because I have the pals to just condense over it anyway. Bunch of maxed Astegons, which makes me question why I had a bunch of like 0-star lucky Astegons in the other bases. Always good to go through this stuff. We got, same thing here, a bunch of old Anubis mixed in with worker Anubis. And the old, well, these are actually work speed. A lot of work speed. German tides. Not sure why I would ever need them. But it's hard to get rid of 4-star pals. So, like, I can just hover over these now while I say how I'm thinking about my pals. I've been waiting for the server transfer thing. Because then I was hoping to just give away a bunch of these pals to people. So I've been holding on to them. A ton of German Tide Ignis. A whole lot of German Tide Ignis. But since it doesn't seem like we're getting server transfers anytime soon, I am reluctant to just like butcher a bunch of 4-star pals. You never really know when they get like an exclusive skill that might bring them back into play. Absolute Frost Holder pal, decent. So you never really know that stuff, but since I am running out of space on everything, like sure I have a couple of pals back here that I could delete. Maybe clear up like one page of the Palbox or maybe 1.5. Valeri's army in the works here. Gonna condense over the old one. But yeah, since I don't really want to get rid of all these pals, I'm considering just butchering or selling them. And then if I ever feel like I want them back, I could install that mod to just pal edit them back in. Because right now it's a bit much. I got a ton of Shadowbeaks. But these are old Shadowbeaks. I need to rebreed these with Demon God as well. If I'm gonna use a Shadowbeak army. Or as mentioned, I delete them and then pal edit them back in. Because I don't want to have the viewing cages. I feel like they make the game lag even if they're on the other side of the map.
Like if you have 0 viewing cages, the game just runs a lot smoother. So Palladius army in the works, got quite a lot of them done. I think it might be time to condense over some of these older ones. Just need to get the souls back. I've done that mistake a few times where I forget to reset souls and you just condense over them. A couple of old Necromus. A lot of old Necromus actually. Same thing with Frostalion. I'm breeding the Frostalion army. So I'm gonna do like this test with Frostalion, Bastigor, Palladius and Germantile Ignis and see how they perform against Xenolord Ultra to really just check, like on average, which one is performing best, try to rank them up. A ton of different Frostalion knots from old Lord of the Underworld tests. So keep in mind also that most of these pals were made back when we didn't have the large scale incubator. I haven't actually done a whole ton of breeding in Feybreak. I've mostly been doing other stuff. A little bit burnt out on just breeding. Some old Jet Dragons from the Jet Dragon army. Thunderclap. I think this is the original area of effect farming Jet Dragon from before, way before Libro released. It has lightning strikes. I was probably flying around killing cows on this back in the day. Some Bellanors, never actually got around to breed it. A ton of Libros. If you've seen my 50 Bellanor Libro versus Xenolord Ultra attempt, you'll know why this was quite a bit of a waste of time. But they do end up doing pretty well on expeditions. Dark pals that are strong on expeditions are always nice. Just a ton of these Libros. Some placeholder Selines, a placeholder Frog with Meteor Rain. Never know when you need a Meteor Rain pal. Nocturnal placeholder. Blank pals, good to keep around. Rebreeding some Soothsayers. I do have the books to give one of these kindling now, so I'm trying to get on alpha before I do. Some random pals, random Knocklems. I think I was doing a project, yeah, all range Thunder, Charge Cannon, Double Blizzard. Trying to get all these breeding exclusive skills. Started breeding a Mimog army as well. There's gonna be a Mimog army against Raid Boss video coming out like any month now. Or they release new passives and it goes down the drain like all those other pals you never saw. Old Xenogard army. This was a fail. Didn't perform very well. A ton of Xenolords. I think I ended up with 30 maxed Xenolords before I had Demon God. So quite a lot of Xenolords to condense over by the time I actually had them. Sylvagus army, surprisingly nice. I thought it was very fun to use this against Xenolord. Some random placeholder pals here towards the end with these new Feybreak pals, right? Bastigor army. So I started breeding them with Siren of the Void, and then I decided to breed a couple with Musclehead. I'm not sure what the results were. I can't really remember. I might even have posted a video. I can't remember what I decided was better. Siren of the Void or Musclehead. And that's just because Holy Burst is so strong against Xenolord. I don't really know which one will perform better. Or if I do know, I might have a video done or I might need to make a video on it. Some Pronelias in case I ever want to do that. And then some Luckies. Some Lucky Pals here. So that's the Palbox. So now when I'm hatching pals, I have this page and this page left over. So not a whole lot of space, but now going through the Palbox, I do have a couple of pals that I could delete. Like it's just they have 3 stars and stuff. Feels bad to delete them. And a little bit with the gender, like keeping 1 female and 1 male. But I have a couple of pals that I could actually delete now. It just feels bad to delete these 4 passive pals. But yeah. But that's not it. We actually have 1 more base. So let's just pray that the game doesn't crash now. We'll see. I think you can already hear. There's a lot of stuff going on now. So this is like, you know, when you were told to clean your room and everything is like under the bed. This is the viewing cage base. So these are all the old armies that I've been using in videos. Quite a lot of pals in here. Not sure how many viewing cages, so let's try to go through them one by one. you can see that there's a lot of pals just glitching outside the cage. Let's check it out. Wait, there we go. Okay, so a bunch of flower gumos. All these are either lucky or flower gumos. Got some other random lucky pals. Celestial Emperor Vanguard Lift Monk. Probably placeholder. We got some old Celestial Emperor Cativas that are placeholder as well. All my merchants. I think I have one of each merchant in here as well. A lucky Warsec Terra. Could probably delete some of the luckies. So this box is mainly some of these leftover pals that either have 4 passives or did like Flower Gumos or Pal Tamers or whatever. What's in here? A bunch of old German-type Ignis. Not super exciting stuff. They're all 2-star. I think they are part of the Xenolod Ultra budget army that I never finished making a video of. My Loot Monk Christ army. These are all maxed. They're nice. Got my Loot Monk Christs. They performed quite bad though. I don't recommend breeding a Loot Monk Christ army. Was that the same cage? It's quite hard to move around. If you think the video is lagging, I'm clicking the buttons a couple seconds before it actually happens. Chickpea army. Nice, huh? Like this one. Okay, a couple of Retiro Christs. This is also from pre-Sakuradima. I was testing a lot of passives back then. Like if you wanted Burly Body, Siren of the Void. So they were just a bunch of tests. Even more German-type Ignis with Impatient and stuff like that. Frostallion, also from the budget test. Old pals there. So this is the pals that I could get rid of, but I was hoping for a server transfer. But since that doesn't seem to be happening, I will probably just end up selling these pals, and if I ever feel like I want them back, I will mod them back. Because I don't want my 10th base to just be these lag-filled breeding cages. But it's fun to make this video now showing them all. Dogen army. I'm not sure if they ever fixed his exclusive skill. When I made this army, I had high hopes for it. Kind of like Sylvagus. That it would work in raids with blocking and counterattacking and everything. So even more Rios. A couple of Rios from the Rio army. And then I had some Blasamuts as well. Also a little bit placeholder pals that I might condense over or might just delete. And this one is pretty funny. Like I think it was the worst luck I've ever had in a breeding project. That's why I saved these. You see, all these 4-star Fenglopes was just while I was waiting for one alpha. I think I ended up with like 700 Fenglopes before I got the alpha Fenglope that had the movement speed stuff back in the Libro patch. So pre-Sakurajima there as well. Couple of Flopies, but they're bugged. That's why I don't use them anymore. I used to always have a Flope in my party when running dungeons, but they cause major lag and just don't work. Just a couple of Orsurks. Made one army for Rio Ultra in Sakurajima. Then we realized how strong Holy Burst was, so I made a second army with Holy Burst. And then I also had an army before that with Lord of the Lightning, pre-Sakurajima. So I've had 3 different Orsurk armies. And the work speed Orsurks. Let's see. Is this a cage? Yeah, so I have a ton of Frostallions that are 4-star. So when I'm finished with, when I have 15 Frostallions with Demon God, I can just condense over these. So I might already be ready. Let's see. Wait, where is Frostallion? There. Not quite 15 yet, but we'll condense over these eventually. And then delete the rest, I guess. I don't feel like I need more than 15. Maybe 30 is nice. Let's see, is this another cage here? Okay, the old German-type army. Also for Rio phase 1, before I realized that he changes to electric. So I was better off making German-type Ignis anyway. Remnants of the Xenogard army. A couple of more Dogans. A couple of more Libros. This is the pal I used for the whole skill fruit test. It has every skill fruit in the game. So that's the pal that did the entirety of that, comparing every single skill fruit's DPS in the game. Lamball army, the old Chickpea army. So you know I have a ton of Chickpeas. Like I had the ranch base full of Chickpeas. I have the Chickpea army that's actually in the cage behind me somewhere. I have the old Chickpea army. I got a ton of Chickpeas. It's a very easy pal to mass catch though, so not too bad. A bunch of random pals that are just maxed. I have a Lulu army as well. An old Lulu army. Kitson army, or at least 3. Couple of Alpha Bushi Nocts. So these are all pals are just hard to separate with. Because they have like so many either stars or something. Just one day they might be useful again to condense over, but it's time to let them go, I feel. And if I want them back, we do a little hacking. Or modding, or whatever you want to call it. I had a Reptiro Christ army back in the day. I was also breeding a couple of normal Reptiros. I had a couple of them. We had some maxed Bushis going on. Some old Verdash. Is that all? Oh, here's another cage. Okay, this should be the last cage. Maybe I did already show this one. No, I don't think I did. Also a couple of Sakurajima pals. The old Joltog Christ army as well. Some more Jet Dragons from the Jet Dragon army. So yeah, that is the state of the Palbox. I've caught a lot of pals. Let's check out some of them in here. We got 6,500 Chickpeas. Never caught a Foxbark Christ though. Let's see, what else do I have a lot of? Not a whole lot of Joltogs. What else is there with a lot? 3,000 Musarinas. And again, keep in mind that most of these are before the large-scale incubator. Not too many Dumuds. I didn't start really breeding them until Feybreak, so they are large-scale incubator pals. How many Chillis do I have? 600, not too bad either. Let's see if we get to something a little bit more exciting. We got not too many Ragnarhawks. We're getting to the endgame pals. Should have a decent amount of these. 2,500 Reptiro Christ. We move on. Okay, let's see what we're up in. Still no Demon God. And I've been Dr. Brawning this guy since pretty much since Feybreak released. Probably 1.5 months of Dr. Brawning, still no Demon God. I love rainbow passives. I really do. 4,500 Astegons. 7,200 Anubis. 7,000 Germantide. 7,500 Germantide Ignis. Let's see what else we got. Not too many of these, right? Okay, 2,800, decent amount. 6,300 Orzurks. I haven't made a single one of these in Feybreak. So these are all with the single hatch incubator. Kind of regretting some life choices right around here. 6,500 Shadowbeaks. 1,500, not too bad. 5,700, a little bit more. 10,000 Frostallion Nocts. Most of these got butchered. I was breeding them for the souls. Jet Dragon, 3,300, not too bad. Almost 10,000 Libros, getting close. 2,500. How many Noclums am I up to? 6,000 Noclums. Decent amount. Couple of Mimogs. 4,200 Xenolords. That was just because I needed Demon God to make the army. Sylvegas, not looking too bad. How much? 2,500 Bastigor. So yeah, I think those are the main pals that I've been breeding. Don't think I forgot anyone which has like a ton. Should be these. Almost 1,000 Felbats. So yeah, the plan now, I guess, is to unfortunately take almost every single pal that isn't Feybreak relevant, like all these old Sakurajima, pre-Sakurajima armies, and just either butcher or sell them all. I'll have this video to go back to get like a realistic picture if I ever want them back, how many of them I had. if I do decide to PAL edit them back. So that's it for the Palbox state of the game tour. Became a little longer than I thought it would be, but I do have a ton of pals. But for now, thanks for watching.